Hey everybody, Fun Film Animations here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a complete guide on how to use Flipaclip. So let's get started. So when you first enter Flipaclip, you're going to be presented 3 tabs at the very bottom of the screen. It's going to be the Home button, the Plus button, and the Discover button. First off, we're going to talk about the Discover section. So when you enter the Discover section, you're going to see a bunch of different tabs at the top of the screen, and we're going to be talking through what each of those tabs are. So starting off, you're going to be recommended the For You tab. And what that is all the videos and new tools that Flipaclip is trying to get you to see. These are the videos that they recommend for the users of Flipaclip. So if you go one over, you're going to see the Template tab, and these are a bunch of different templates that you can use for your animations. So the next one over is going to be the Getting Started tab, and these are a bunch of different videos that Flipaclip has made to help you better learn how to use Flipaclip. So the next tab is the Tutorials tab, and that's a bunch of different videos that Flipaclip has made on showing you how to create different style animations. And I would definitely recommend checking those out because that's how I learned how to do a lot of my animation. So the next one is the Live tab, and that's all the different live streams that the Flipaclip YouTube channel has posted. We all have a good time having fun on those live streams, so I definitely recommend joining them on Thursdays if you can. So the next tab is going to be the Contest tab, and that's where Flipaclip will every now and again do these contests where they have big prizes for the winners to win and everybody can compete. So the next tab is the Challenge tab, and this is where they have different templates for you to use for their upcoming challenges or even the past ones. And they're a lot of fun to do. That a lot of times they give you audio or songs, or they'll have different templates for you to animate on top of. So the next tab is going to be the FAQ tab, and this is where you're going to go if you have any questions about Flipaclip. You should be able to find your answers in this tab. So lastly, we have the Animatics tab, and here they give you a bunch of different templates that have the audio of what you should animate. And they have 3 different characters for you to use. It's Kimochi, Buki, and Roberto. And you get to animate these characters with the audio tracks that they give you in these templates. So now we're going to go back to the home page, and at the top left corner, you're going to see 3 lines. If you click that, you're going to see the Support, Community, and Bugs. So that the bugs is going to be if you recognize any glitches in the app, you'll go there and let the Flipaclip team know that you're experiencing any issues with the app. Then you're also going to see Support. You can also go there if you're having any issues with the Flipaclip app. If you click the middle tab, it'll take you to the official Flipaclip Discord, and you can have a good time just chatting with a bunch of different Flipaclippers. So now below those 3 tabs, you're going to see the Account tab. So here you're going to be able to manage your Flipaclip Plus subscription or any past purchases. You can also link your YouTube account to Flipaclip, so that way you can upload straight from Flipaclip to your YouTube channel. You can also set up your privacy settings, and you can also turn on notifications so that way you can make sure you're alerted of any new contests or challenges that are happening. So if you click into that, you're going to see something called Light and Dark mode. If you click that, you'll be able to change your screen color from white or black, and you can also change the outer ring color to a bunch of different options. So the rest of these tabs are going to be a bunch of different things for stylus sensitivity or just your personal settings that you would like to set. So under the About section, you're going to have a bunch of privacy settings. You'll also have access to the support team on this section as well. And lastly, if you look at the very bottom, you're going to be able to see all the different social medias that Flipaclip is on, and you can go follow them on those different social medias. So now if you go back to the home page and look at the upper right corner, you're going to see a diamond button. So if you click the diamond, you're going to be able to see all the Flipaclip Plus membership options, and right now it's 58% off, so it's only $30 for an entire year of all the premium features, and you can get rid of the Flipaclip watermark, and you don't have to watch any ads to use the app. You can also get a 7-day free trial if it's something that you'd like to experiment with first, and then you can later buy the membership after the free trial ends. So if you hit the little magnifying glass next to the diamond, you're going to be able to search for different projects and movies that you've made on Flipaclip. So if you hit the 3 dots right below the diamond, you're going to be able to search for different projects that you're working on. So now I'm going to show you how you can create your own project. So if you hit the little plus tab at the bottom of the screen, you're going to be able to create your own project. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to name your project. So you can use the keyboard and type in what you want to name your project. Next, we can choose our background, and you have a couple options for this. The first tab is going to be all the preset backgrounds that Flipaclip has made for you to use. And they have a lot of good options in there that have different cartoon scenes or just different texture backgrounds in general. The second one is the bucket tool, and here you're going to be able to change the color of the background to any color that you want. So next tab is going to be the photo tab, and here you can add your own photos from your files or your photo library, and that will be your background for your animation. And lastly, there's the camera button, and here you can take a photo right now and you can have that as your background for your animation. So now below that, you're going to have canvas size, and here you can choose what size canvas you want to work on, and they have it for almost all social media. Next, you're going to have the frames per second section, and that's going to determine how fast or slow you want your animation to go. They have it preset to 12 frames per second, which is a good frame rate to keep it at. So now we're going to hit the Create Projects button. So now you're going to be taken to your canvas where you can start drawing. If you look to your left, you're going to see 5 different tabs. First, we're going to go over the Brush tab. So if you tap the Brush button, you're going to be given 3 more options. If you tap the first one, you're going to be able to change the different style brush that you want to use. They have a whole selection of style brushes that you can use. If you don't have premium, you should be able to use these brushes if you watch an ad. When you click into the little arrow by the brush, you're going to have the brush settings. So you can use the stabilizer that helps stabilize your lines and makes it easier to get a straight line. You can also adjust thickness, opacity, and the color of the brush. So now if you hold down on the middle button, you're going to be able to adjust the size of your brush. So if you go up, you're going to make the brush bigger. If you scroll down while holding it, you're going to make the brush smaller. And lastly, if you tap the little color icon at the bottom, you're going to be able to change the color of your brush. Now Flipaclip has a few different ways that you can choose your color. First off, they have the wheel selection. So you can scroll around and choose the color that you want using the wheel. You can use classic, which is the square option, and you can adjust what style color you want and like what style hue you want. Then they have the harmony section, again where you can use the color picker to choose the color that you want. Then you have value. It's going to have a bunch of different options for the value of color that you want. And lastly, you're going to have swatch, and here they have pre-made color palettes, but you can also create your own color palette. All you have to do is hit plus, and you can add the color that you want that your brush is on. So if I wanted to do that, I could go back to classical, and I'll choose this blue color, and I can go here and hit the plus button, and I can add it to my own swatch. If you press the top left button, this is going to be the color match button, and so if you press it and drag, you're going to be able to match the color that you want it to be. The other thing that you can do is if you press the color button and you scroll down, you can adjust the opacity that you want the brush to be. So if you tap back on the brush button again, it's going to take you right back to the 5 original buttons. So now if you tap the button right below it, it's going to be the eraser button. And so if you tap the first button, you're going to be able to choose what style eraser you want. And so you can match the brushes with the eraser so that way it matches as you're erasing. So just like with the brushes, you're going to have the same options with the eraser. You can choose the thickness, the stabilizer, and all those different options for your eraser. And just like with the brush, if you hold down on the next button, if you go up, you can make it bigger. If you go down, you can make it smaller. So if I have the brush at 0%, it's going to give that straight edge like erase. And if I go to 100%, it's going to give a soft edge erase. And lastly, if you hit the color button, what you can do is you can change the opacity that you want the eraser to erase. So if you click right below that, you're going to have the lasso tool. And what you can do is if you want everything on this layer to be selected, all you have to do is double tap the lasso tool. But say you just want a certain item on that layer selected, you can manually go around that item and cut it out, and then you can move it around. And so the little dot in the center is your anchor, so that's going to base how it's going to squash or stretch your item. So if I move the little circle to the bottom of this drawing, I can squash it, but the bottom won't move because that's where my anchor is. Or if I want it to be at the top, it's not going to move from the top. And if you press in on the middle square on the right, it's going to shrink it from this way. And if you grab the middle bottom square, you're going to be able to shrink it this way. And if you grab any of the main corners, you're going to be able to shrink or resize it. You can shrink it or make it bigger. So now if you look to the right of the screen, you're going to see 5 new buttons. And so if you can look at the first one, this is going to be the first preset with everything I just explained. So you'll be able to use these squares to help reshape your drawing. Now if you go to the one below it, you're going to have the new perspective tool. And what that does is if you grab each of those squares, you can make your drawing match a perspective that you want. So if you grab like the top right one, you can make it look like it's leaning this way. And you can adjust the different ways that it looks using these different squares to help get the perspective that you want. Now right below that, you can adjust if you want to flip your drawings horizontal or vertical. So you can flip it left and right, or you can flip it up and down. And if the drawing's something that you don't want, all you have to do is hit the trash can button and you can delete the drawing that's selected. So now if you press the bucket icon, you're going to get 2 new tabs to appear. The first one, you're going to be able to adjust the strength that you want your bucket full to fill in. So what that means is if you draw something and there's a slight gap, if you have it at full strength, 100, it's going to fill right over that because it detects that there's a small gap. Now, if you lower that strength, it's going to detect it as a line, so it won't overfill it. But if your drawing has too much of a gap, then none of this strength will help fill your drawing. It's going to recognize that's a gap no matter what. So you want to make sure that your lines are as connected as possible. If you look at the little color icon, if you press that, you can again choose whatever color that you want. And if you hold down on it, you can adjust the opacity that you want it to fill in as. So you can make it look like a more translucent fill. Now lastly, if you press the T icon, you can add your own text. So if you press the first icon, you're going to be able to see all the different style fonts that Flipaclip has to offer. So I'll use Boombox. Now, all you have to do to start a text is tap the screen. And all you have to do is type in whatever word you want written. When you're done typing, all you have to do is hit insert. To move your drawing, all you have to do is move inside the box, and you can move it left, right, up, down, wherever you want. And you can also use that with the lasso tool on the drawing that you've drawn as well. Same thing as before with the lasso tool, you can adjust how big or small you want it, if you want it scrunched in or if you want it scrunched up. And you can also use the perspective tool with your text as well, so you can adjust the different style perspectives that you want your text to be in. And if you realize that you've made an error in your text or you want to change it, all you have to do is hit the little pencil icon and you can update your text to whatever you want it to be. And just like with the lasso tool, you can adjust if you want your text to flip horizontal or vertically, or if you want it deleted. So to adjust the size, all you have to do is hold down on the middle button as well if you don't want to use little squares, and you can adjust the size to big or smaller. If you drag up, it goes big. If you drag down, it goes small. And lastly, you can adjust the color by tapping the color icon, and so I can make it whatever color I want. And you can also change the opacity of the text as well. So now if you look at the bottom, at the middle of the screen, you're going to be able to see what frame you're going to be on. So right now I'm on frame 1. If I wanted to add another frame, I can hit this plus button and I can get a blank frame. If I wanted the same exact frame without having to redraw everything, all you have to do is press the frame you want copied and you hit these two squares, and then you're going to press this button. You're going to get an exact copy of the frame before. If you wanted to add a blank frame, another way you can do it is if you wanted it to come after the frame, you can hit this button. But say I wanted a blank frame before it, all I have to do is hit this button. And say I want to decide I don't need a frame, you can hit the little trash can icon to delete it. And the other thing too is if you want a frame copied and put before it, all you have to do is hit the paste button that's showing the arrow to the left. Now, if you hold on the bottom of the screen towards the frames, if you go left and right, you can swipe through and see what frames you have drawn. As you scroll, you're going to see two arrows, and if you have a big animation and you want to get to the middle, end, or beginning really fast, all you have to do is hold that arrow. If you hold on that, it's going to tell you what frame you're on, and you can swipe really fast to wherever you want to be in your animation. It will also tell you, depending on what frame you land on, how many seconds in you are to your animation and how long your animation is in general. If you look to the bottom right of the screen, you're going to have two arrows and a play button. If you hit play, your animation is going to play. If you press the first arrow button, it's going to take you all the way to the beginning of your animation. If you hit the second arrow button, it's going to take you to the end of the animation. If you look to the bottom left of the screen, you're going to see a music note. Now once you press the music note, you're going to have a whole new track open up for you. Here you can add whatever music and sound effects you want, and you can even use Flipaclip's own sound effects in your animation. So if you look at the right of the screen towards the middle, you're going to have 3 new buttons. If you press the first one with the music note and the lines, that's going to take you to all of Flipaclip's pre-made sound effects that you can use. And you're going to see a little magnifying glass, and you can search for sound effects that way too. The next button you're going to see is the microphone button. If you press into that, you'll be able to record something as you're talking, and you'll be able to add it straight to your animation. So to be able to record, you're going to have to hold the microphone button as you're talking, and once you're done, you can let go of the button. Once you're done recording, it'll let you trim your audio if you want something trimmed out of it, and you can even play it before you add it to your animation. Once you're happy with your audio, all you have to do is hit the check mark, and it's going to take you back to the track screen. Now here, if you hold it, you can drag it to wherever you want to play in the animation. So if you double tap your audio track, you're going to get 4 new buttons. And so if you press it, you're going to get a duplicate of your audio. The next thing you're going to be able to do is you can split your audio. So if you press the little marker button, you're going to be able to split your audio wherever you want, and you can adjust the clips wherever you need it. The next one is the trash can icon. That is for you to delete the audio if it's something that you do not want. And the last button will let you rename your audio track. Now if you pay attention to the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to see what number frame the audio starts playing at. So that way it's a good way if you're trying to do lip sync, you know what frame to start your lip sync animation at. If you look to the left of the screen, you'll be able to see a little microphone sound button, and you'll see a lock screen button. The little soundbar button is going to allow you to mute it if you don't want to listen to the audio while you're animating. And the little lock button is going to allow you to not move your audio unless you turn it off, so that way you don't accidentally move it while you're animating. Now, in the middle left side of the corner of the screen, you're going to see a bigger microphone button. That will mute all tracks, so that way there's 0 audio. If you press the little play button at the top right of the screen, that's going to give you all of the privacy settings for your movie, so that way you can rename your project. If you want to go ahead and finish your project, you can also do it here. If you want to play your animation while looking at your audio, you can hit the play button. If you want to go to the beginning or the end, you just press the 2 arrows buttons depending on which one you want to do. To get out of this screen, all you have to do is at the top left of the corner, press the little arrow button. It'll take you back to where you began. So now if you look at the bottom right of your screen, you're going to see the number 1 and it's going to be a box. If you click that, that's going to show all the layers that you have. To add a new layer, all you have to do is hit the plus button. If you want to rename your layer so that way you don't get mixed up, all you have to do is press where it says layer. If you press that, you can delete the name and you can rename it whatever you want. Now if you tap on the 100% button while you're holding it and you scroll down, you're going to adjust the opacity that the layer is going to be set for. And to make it go back to 100%, all you have to do is go up. If you hold on the layer, you can adjust whether you want that layer to be above or below another layer. Or to merge layers, all you have to do is hold down on the layer and hover it over the layer you want to be merged with. It'll give the option to merge, and so you're going to let it do that. One of the most important things to do when merging a layer is to read what layer is merging with what to make sure those are the right layers you want merged with it. So now if you press the yellow arrow, you're going to get a whole new selections of items that you can choose from. The first one you can do is the opacity. If you hold down on the white circle and scroll left and right, you can adjust the opacity of the layer. The next one you're going to have is the blending mode, and you'll have a bunch of different selections for different ways that you can blend your layer. So the next item is going to be alpha lock. So when you turn on the alpha lock, basically what happens is the drawing that you currently have, you can't draw outside of that drawing. So it's only going to color in what you've already drawn. The next item is going to be the clipping mask. And what that does is when you have a layer on top of your drawing and you turn on clipping mask, it's going to show through the drawing that was underneath it. But it won't have anything else on top of it except for the drawing that was underneath. The next item that you're going to have is the pixel effect. So if you want to make a pixel animation without having to use the pixel brush, what you can do is you can adjust the size of the pixels and it'll make it look more pixelated than just the normal drawing. It'll do this pixel effect for all the drawings on the layer. And the last item that's going to be on this page is the glow effect. So to turn it on, all you're going to do is to press the white circle and it'll turn on the effect. Now you're going to have 4 other options to help adjust for the glow effect. You can adjust the size by holding onto the white circle and scrolling left or right. You can also adjust alpha, which is how bright or saturated the color of the glow effect is going to be. You're also going to have a hardness effect, which you can adjust to show how much of a glow effect you want on your drawings. And lastly, if you tap the color, you're going to be able to adjust the color that you want your glow effect to be. Now when you change this color, it's going to change for all the drawings that are on that layer. So now we're going to look at the top of the screen. So if you look at the top right of the screen and you look at that first button, that's going to be your ruler section. And so what that's going to do is if you draw on top of it, you're going to be able to draw a straight line. You're going to have a square in the middle and 2 circles on the side. And so what that does is the circles you can adjust to decide what type of angle you want to draw at. And the square is going to stay in place. So if you grab the square, you can decide where you want it to be on your screen. And you can make all sorts of different angles. And you don't have to draw directly on the ruler, so you can draw wherever and it's going to give the same angle throughout the entire screen. If you change the angle of the ruler but you want to go back to a straight angle, all you have to do is press the line button and it takes you back to where you started. Right below that, you're also going to see a bunch of different shapes. You can do a circle, a square, and you can also use the symmetry tool. So what you draw on one side will also draw on the other side. The next button is going to be the lock button, and you can use this on the ruler so that way as you zoom in, it stays in place so that way you know it's going to be in the same spot that you started. Because if you don't use that and you zoom in, the ruler is going to follow the screen. Where if you use lock and you zoom in, it's going to stay in place. And to get the ruler to go away, all you have to do is press the ruler icon again. Now the next button is going to be the copy button, and the one after that is the paste button. So you can do it two ways. You can copy the entire frame of what's on that layer. If you go to a blank one and hit paste, it's going to copy everything on it. And you can also use the Lasso tool. And when it's selected, all you have to do is hit copy and then hit paste. So now if you make a mistake on a drawing or you want to undo something, all you have to do is hit this little arrow and it'll undo it. And the arrow right next to it is the redo button. Now lastly, you're going to see these three dots. If you hit it, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of new buttons. And so we're going to go through that. So the project settings is going to let you readjust the color of your backgrounds, or if you decide you want to use one of Flipaclip's backgrounds, you can do that. You can also rename your project or also change the frames per second while you're in the middle working on your project. If you go to Frames Viewer, you're going to be able to see all the frames that you've animated so far. If you hold down on it, you'll be able to copy and paste it if you want. You can also export a single drawing, and you can save it to your photos by pressing the little arrow with the box icon. If you decide the frame is something that you don't want, just hit the trash can icon. And you can also add a blank frame before or after a certain drawing. When it shows that one drawing is selected, if you want to manually select certain frames, all you have to do is press other drawings and you can select all of them. So if you look at the top right of the screen, you're going to have two buttons. The first one is going to automatically select all of the drawings that you have for your animation. And the next button is going to allow you to add a blank frame to the beginning, to the end, or in between all your frames. To get out of this, all you have to do is press the arrow at the top left of the screen. Now the next button you're going to see is the onion skin layer. And so if you press the little circle, you're going to be able to turn it on. If you go to edit, you can adjust how many frames before you want to see and how many frames after you want to see. You can adjust the onion skin to show whether you want the frames to be red and green or if you want it to be normal. You can also adjust whether you want your onion skin to loop or not. If you press the arrows right next to them, you can adjust the opacity you want of each frame to be. So to get out of this option, all you have to do is hit the X. And if you decide that you don't want the onion skin on at all you have to do is press the white circle again and it'll turn it off. Now the next option you can do is you can use the grid option. So all you have to do is press the white circle again and you'll have the grid selected. If you hit edit, you can adjust the different options of the size that you want the grid to be. And you can also adjust the opacity of the lines on the grid. To get out, all you're going to do is hit X, and to turn it off, you can press the white circle again. So now we're going to take a look at the new Magic Cut tool. This is something new that Flipaclip just added, and they gave a little demo section for you to play around with. To add a new selection, all you have to do is hit the plus, and what it will do is when you add the photo, it will try to recognize different items in that photo and it'll automatically select it out so that way you can use it for your animation. If you press the little light bulb tool, it's going to take you to the tutorial on how to use the Magic Cut tool. And if you press the option that says demo, it gives preset options for you to play around with. And so if you press the picture, it'll automatically add it to your animation. So now you have the add image and add video tabs, and all you have to do is press those and go to your photo library and add whatever photo or video you want to your animation. If you press the add the video option, what it's going to do is make the video its own layer so that way it doesn't mix with anything that you've drawn on another layer. And now the last button for you on this page is the make a movie button. If you press that, it's going to give you the options of what output size you want it to be. Now here you're going to have a button that says video format, and this is how it's going to be exported. So MP4 is going to be like your normal video. A GIF you can use to be able to send to your friends, and it's going to loop. And a PNG sequence is going to be similar, except it's not going to have a background. It's going to take the background out of the animation. If you do the PNG, it's going to give you the option for the transparent background. And here you can also decide whether you want to use the Flipaclip watermark in your video or whether you want it taken off. When you're satisfied with your animation, all you have to do is hit Make Movie. So now what you can do is you can save your animation to your photos, or you can decide what platform you want your video uploaded to just from Flipaclip. If you hit the More button, you can decide whether you want to save this to your files or if you have another place that you would prefer to put your animation in. So once you've done all that, if you hit the back arrow, it'll take you back to the home screen. And if you hit Make a Movie, if you go to the Movies tab, your animation will be selected in here and it will be saved forever. So if you hit Make a Movie and you delete the project, your project will still be saved in Movies, but you won't be able to animate anything else to that project. What you can do though is if you've deleted it from your photos, you can resave it to your photos. So it'll be saved on Flipaclip forever. You just gotta make sure that you're fully done animating before deleting the project. Now, if you hold down on one of your projects that you're working on, you'll see a new selection of buttons. And so the first one is the pencil button, and that will let you readjust any settings you want to your animation, like renaming the project file. If you press the arrow button on the animation, you'll be able to share your project, or you can make it a movie and finish that animation. You can also hit the duplicate button and it'll make a copy of your animation. So if you hit the little clock button, 3 new buttons will appear. The middle one, if you press the little white circle, you'll be able to start a time-lapse recording. So what will happen is that Flipaclip will record the entire animation process as you're animating your animation. It'll stop the recording once you leave your project, but as soon as you enter it again, it will continue recording. When you finish your animation and you want that time-lapse video, all you have to do is press the Share Time-Lapse Video, and you can save it to your photos. And if you decide that the time-lapse recording isn't something that you wanted, but you had already started the time-lapse recording, all you have to do is hit the trash can icon and you can delete it. And lastly, if you're done with the project and you want it deleted, all you have to do is hit the trash can icon. If you hold down on your animation, you can select multiple animations. If you decide it's something that you want to stack together and keep those animations in a group, all you have to do is hit the plus with the stack icon. It'll stack all those animations together and keep them grouped together. So when you hit the stack, it'll show all the animations that are in that group. Well everyone, that's it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you have any recommendations for future tutorials, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. And I wish you the best of luck on your animation journey.